Everybody, Ivan, Goose, Rob, Donald, Larry, Will, Laura, Diane, Craig, Darren, Rosalind, Kevin, David, Kimberly, my favorite subscriber, is here. John, Svenborn, Ted, Gaten Mad, Logan, Amy, good to see everybody. If you want to chat with me, say hey, good morning. Click the subscribe button down in the bottom corner. Be a subscriber on the channel. You can chat with me. And channel members get priority on chat and priority on requests for Tuesday, 30 minutes of awesome. And some bonus stuff in the background. Hey, Rongamer, good to see you as always. Good to see you. Me and the electrical contractor are going to throw down, I think. 2 weeks before he's coming back now. Oh, it's going to rain. I'm not going to come. Killing me, man. Killing me. Got no way to home charge my truck right now. I'm going to rig something up. This is getting ridiculous. Hey, General Rush. Good to see you, sir. Cliff, good to see you. And how about that Apple reaction? Anybody see that sucker? Oh, yeah. I like it. So far positive. We'll pull up the chart here in just a second. Just a moment. I'm trying to get everything in place for the show. And we got PCE out this morning. Didn't really seem to matter much. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation tend to be, excuse me, informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. Don't buy stocks. Don't buy options. Don't buy forex. Don't buy futures. Don't buy cryptos. Don't buy treasuries. Don't buy bonds. If you buy them, if you sell them, there's the substantial risk of loss. All right. That's pretty much everything financial instrument that I cover. So be careful out there. And Ninja, I do requests on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Otherwise, we already have a kind of a set list that we go through that's based on what's moving today. If your stock made the list, that's cool. I don't know. I don't remember what I said in Discord that were on the list. Look at the announcements channel. There were 41 gainers, 11 decliners, and 52 tickers on the list. I run a pre-market scan, build the list automatically. I don't even look at it beforehand. So there you go. And we had PCE out this morning. Come on, refresh. There we go. Came in line, at least on the month over month. Let's see. Wonder if, where's the economic news calendar? Economic. Oop. Dividend economic. Let's see. Year over year, forecast was 2.6. We got 2.4. Do you even know you could do this in TradingView now? It's pretty cool, right? And 2.6, 2.6. Prior was 2.4. Oh, excuse me. I'm reading them wrong. Forecast in line. Personal income in line. Personal spending came in hot. Not too shabby, I guess. It works, right? Looking on down. Not really much else today. So, relatively benign. Looking on down the list. Let's go check it out over here. Next week. Come on, click that off. Click that off. Come on. Next week. Golly, we're already on the last day of January. 1/12 done for them. Get some ISM on Monday after the market opens. Might be a little volatility after the market opens there on Monday. If you're day trading, Tuesday. That's weird. Wonder why it's out. Wednesday. Tuesday didn't really have anything. Wednesday. We got some more numbers there. And Thursday, normal unemployment. Get some Fed members speaking here a little bit. Waller out there. And Friday, we get the monthly jobs stuff. That's it. So, a little bit of inflation and stuff right there. Not much happening next week, economic news wise. Now, we do have some big earnings coming up, like Amazon. We'll see. Usually they disappoint. Like their Christmas holiday season, just, everybody expects more out of it than we actually get. So we'll see what happens. Apple, nice pop. That should activate the bigger picture pattern. I did buy some AAPU. So we'll be right in that. Like there's this uptrend of lows that we kind of poked below. And it's not very clean. So maybe it doesn't matter. You see, we kind of rode it right there. Rode it, popped up, and then popped down. I don't know that matters. That line doesn't seem to really matter at all. So just take it off the line, off the chart. Bigger picture, this line seems to matter. And if we get down to it, you got to be careful. So if we turn down today, break back below the roadmap line, we're probably coming back down to this area right in here. That low, that high, that's the 618 retrace, which could project it up higher. Now, remember, this is the biggest of the big here, and right now, $3.38 trillion. It is the king. Can it maintain the king? They were announcing that they're working with T-Mobile and Starlink, and they're going to have direct-to-cell phone for T-Mobile customers on Starlink everywhere in the United States. It's like a pretty good deal to me. They're going to maybe have better support on Apple products than Samsung or Google, possibly. Those are kind of the three big, big premium phones. You could say some other ones, but yeah, it's really you got the Pixel, you got the Galaxy, and you got the iPhone, and that's kind of the three biggest ones that I know of, anyway. At least when I see people using them, and you'd be like, well, Motorola this or that or whatever. But so Apple cutting a deal with T-Mobile, working kind of in the background with T-Mobile and Starlink, create better support for their direct-to-sat Starlink system. And T-Mobile didn't. I've posted this before. T-Mobile has a beta program they were enrolling people into, so this might go out in a big way. And T-Mobile, go look at that one. And nice, getting a little retrace here. It's got the setup to go higher. And then XOVR, missed the O. Oh, now it's going to be stupid. Love it. And I mentioned this a few days ago when we were over here. Now we're kind of hanging out up here. Of course, I think I mentioned it again here. I've mentioned it to a few people, so golly. I don't even know what's going on. Something. It's like, feels like a blob in my throat. Maybe I'm talking too much lately. Anyway, this right here, 9%. I don't know what the percentage is. I think 9% of the holdings are in SpaceX private equity. Let's see more about the fund. Let's see if it says. Probably, yeah, they don't list it on a holding because they don't have a ticker, probably. Yeah, I think 9% of their holding is SpaceX private equity. So it's an interesting ETF right here. First of its kind that holds private equity and public. So we'll see what happens there. Oop, wrong button. All right. Normal stuff we look at. S&P still holding the pattern. Still holding. We back tested. Still holding. Not really definitively doing anything. We did make a higher high. But that could still lead to a drop. So one thing to be careful of. This high, this low. We're still hanging at the 618 area. Not my favorite. Still hanging in there. We want to get out of here and keep going. Go up to that fib on the upside. Otherwise, the support at the downtrend of highs kind of would be a first indication, which we're getting lower and lower on that as time progresses. If we break down below that, probably coming down here. More than likely. That's the support zone. Here's the immediate target, and then there's the bigger target. The upside. Look at this baby. Still hanging out up here at the top. Hadn't rolled, we did dip a little bit the last couple of days. Then we haven't made like a big top up in the 90 area. This back on regular scale, not log scale. It's not going to get past 100. All right. You can't have more than 100% of the S&P 500 stocks above the 20-day moving average. So this is a giant market oscillator. We tend to go from the top to the bottom. This is basically the percentage of S&P 500 stocks above their 20-day. Kind of sitting at the top. What happens when we're at the top? Usually we roll to the bottom. So it would not surprise me to get another correction. Now, how fast did that go? I mean, look over here. We were up here. We dipped and churned, and then we popped again, and then we plummeted out. And that took from August. There's the August drop. And then we rallied up here, and this did that for almost 6 months, 5 months. September, October, November, December, 4 months, 4 months, 5 months. It depends on how you look at it. Do we start here, July? And then we plummeted out. So this could churn for the next few months. We could make a high out here in May, June, July, and then drop. S5FI. This was at the bottom coming into the year. Top is now it can do a double dip before we see that quite often. And this one moves a bit slower. Like it was up here, the highest high December a year ago, and it took it till December to get all the way to the bottom. We churned and churned along the way, making some lower highs and stuff. So this took a whole year to get the S&P 500 stocks above their 50-day from the maxed out down to the bottom. So it's possible this thing churns a whole another year, half a year, I don't know, till we get back up to the top. We don't typically go above 90 very often on this one. So you can see once we spike 90, it's just a matter of time before we pull back. So same down here at 10. We don't, now we do hang out at the bottom a little bit longer sometimes, up to a week or two, and then reverse strongly. So it's just one to keep an eye on if you've never watched this before. We're hanging out right in the middle. Doesn't really tell much. And the stock's above their 200-day. We bottomed out back here in October. We barely poked above right here. I mean, this is October 22. We barely poked above here in March, April 24. Yeah, so that was like a year and a half later. We haven't been way up into the 90 plus zone in a while. This is S&P 500 stocks above their 200-day. Is this a big channel and we're going to actually pop it up here? Are we on the way to make something up here before we roll? I don't know. Maybe. You can see in the past, the drops tend to be pretty vicious, though. When we come off the high, we tend to come off the high pretty wickedly. So if we go above 90, it's like the warning sign that we might be about to cook to the downside. So right now we're kind of in the safety zone. It's going to take a lot of energy in the market to get up here, push all these S&P 500 stocks. That's why I think we could have a blow off top where we just suck a lot of stuff up to crazy highs and then roll. You tell me what you think. Let me know in the chat. Be interesting. It's never exactly the same story. Like, it's always a little bit different. ES coming on, trying to break higher. Coming on up. There's the target. We set that target back here when we closed above. I talked about that. I was like, just get long S&P and wait. I don't know if anybody did that. There it is. Probably going on up there. We did back test. Right there. Probably coming up. That was just Monday. Freak out on Monday. And now we're almost back to where we were Friday. A week ago. Can we keep it going? I don't know. This looks like a sketchier picture here. Downtrend of highs. Well, we have the aggressive downtrend of highs, the more lax downtrend of highs, which we topped out last week with a lower high. Retested the July highs. Now we're creeping up on that downtrend. If we can break above, there's the immediate target, and then the bigger target up here, 23.2. Maybe like, how do you trade NQ? What the devil is that? It's just the futures. You divide by 9, divide by 41. You know, like NQ1 exclamation point. Oh, hit enter instead of the division. Divide by 41. Excuse me, not 45. Jeez. Typing everything wrong today. Divide by 41, and you basically have the QQQ price right there. And plus or minus a couple bucks, a couple points. Add QQQ. You see a little bit of discrepancy, but it's pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. The pink, red, fuchsia, I don't know, whatever color you want to call that, is QQQ. So NQ is the futures for it. Why do I use futures and not go to the ETF? Because that's an exchange traded fund. It's a derivative. NQ is the future for NDX. NDX doesn't trade at night. Like, they stop at 4 p.m. at the close and don't start trading again until 9:30. That leaves overnight action that's a gap. So I look at the futures, NQ futures, for the complete picture. See, we get these gaps and like, what happened? Like, this was closing red and then we're green, and we don't know. Like, QQQ missing data. Well, turn on the extended hours. They're still missing data. You just go look at the futures. This tells you the whole picture. You can go down the lower time frame. You can see it. That's what happened right there. We're sitting on the 5-minute roadmap line. At least we were 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we get it. Going higher. Looks like NDX get a little spicy here. We'll see what happens. All right. Russell still being kind of soft. Not being... We do have this giant resistance zone right above us. If we get above it, we can go on higher for Russell. This is not showing strength right here yet. This is still showing... This is where like 80% of the country works right here. Oh. I gotta exit my Weeble shares. DX hit the target. Right there. Cool. All right. Sidetrack. CL. Getting below the roadmap line. Watch for that retest right there. Be careful. Doesn't matter, Kevin. I know you think it matters, but it doesn't matter. GC, look at this. Yesterday, that contract rollover pushed it on up, made the gap, got the breakout, and I guess enough people got sucked in that we're going on higher. 2,900 is the target up there. Once we get to 2,900, I don't know, we may roll. And we're pulling silver along with it. Like, it pulled into a breakout yesterday. Look at this. Beautiful. Now we've got that large high right there. We've got this large low right here. I was hoping kind of that we would get the further dip. Didn't do that. We did kind of break out, but it's not a higher high yet. There's the 618. Coming right up into it today. We can get that close above. Right in here. This may light a fire on silver, and we can see a bigger upside. 35.36 immediate target, and if we zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Bigger target right up in here, 55.60 area. Maybe like no freaking way. Okay, it might, like, I look at it as the bigger picture target. I mean, look, it's way lagging gold. Gold is already up there. All right, silver, my buddy silver, way behind, needs to catch up. So we may see a rapid appreciation in silver. It's like an opportunity right there. We can see that play out in a big way. This might be the biggest opportunity of 2025 right here, if it actually goes. You can say it's supply and demand, whatever. Supposedly there's a shortage in silver. Supposedly there's a shortage in gold. You tell me. I don't know. Gold doesn't get used industrially. Silver does. You can blob on the narrative all you want. Fact is, price patterns dictate where we're heading. Bitcoin still churning. Like, this makes me wonder what the fudge is up. We broke out of that downtrend of highs. Downtrend of highs, we broke out. We retested just like we did on NQ and ES. And we're still sitting here. This looks more like ES than it does NQ because we did make a higher high on that pop, just like we did on ES. Do we get the continuation? Can we come on up? 111 would be the current target. 114 maybe. 120. If we get into this zone, I think we're going to see a rapid appreciation in miners. I keep saying that. We're still waiting for it. And the ultimate target is on up higher. We'll probably get a pullback before we get up there. Somewhere in the 150, 170 area. Like you can see 157.5. It's kind of where I think we're heading. Possibly as high as 170. I think we're topping out there on this cycle. If you're expecting more than that, too bad. I don't think we're going much higher than that. We may get a little spike higher than that, but I don't think we're going 200,000 or 300,000 really. I mean, there's a possibility, but it's just not very realistic. Now, something Ethereum hasn't done in months is start breaking out. Potential higher, move higher here. We do have the bigger 618 retest coming up right up in here. Right up in there. Put that right on the... So we've got that as the resistance right there on the breakout. We may pop up in that area. Come back, retest before we can go. Right there would be the resistance. Support still at the roadmap line. And downside target somewhere down here around 27. Dollar rallying a little bit. Got the downtrend of highs, and we're kind of poking into it. We could go on up. That 111 top of the box might be, we might go for it. This kind of matches this right here. This right here wouldn't surprise me if we did that again right there. That would be kind of an echo in the market right there. That low to that high. May push it just a little higher than 111. Yep. 111.50. That would be an echo of that move. Put that right over here. Same move. Same kind of correction. I'm a trend pullback continuation trader. I look for these consistent pullbacks. See how that's almost the same size? We tend to do almost the same thing after we do almost the same size pullback. Now it can come up short. There is significant resistance right there, and that may result in the roll. And we have a 618 resistance right there, very solid. If we just come up, bounce off of that, right there would be the downside target right in there. All right, NKD, just hanging in the middle, non-committal, not really doing anything. We had a big ramp and then a big flush, and we've seen those big ramps and big flushes over and over while we've been in this box, just churning for months and months. Global liquidity indicator not really showing any committal at all. All right, let's look at the gainers and the decliners. I pull everything moving $2 or more up in the pre-market, put it on the gainers list, everything moving $2 or more down in the pre-market, and put it on the decliners list, and we hunt for opportunities using our two main patterns. And the two main patterns, in case you don't know, let's jump over to a clean chart and just kind of talk this out for a second. Just pull up nothing. The chart doesn't matter. So the two main patterns. First, we look for the market roadmap pattern. We have the orange line you've seen on the chart. The main, the primary pattern we're looking for. We break above, we retrace to, we run the fib line from the high to the low. We get a close above the 618 right here. So we get that move up. This is a trend, a pullback. We're looking for a continuation. And then we're looking for this little move right here. This is the high probability move right into this area right there. 75, once this sets up like this, we get this move, this move, and this move, and that daily close right there. 75% likely we're hitting that target right there. 70% likely we're hitting this target right there. Like 35 or 40% we're hitting this. So it drops off drastically right there. So trend pullback continuation. And then we'll see what happens. Usually, a lot of times we'll see it pull back, retest the breakouts, and then rally on up. That happens often enough. But then also often enough, we retrace all the way back down to the roadmap line. So that's pattern number one right there. Now this can work right side up, and it works upside down also. So we can flip everything over, breaks down below, retrace to it, and gets continuation lower. So that works also. Now the other pattern, very similar. Very similar, but we got some nuance to it. So let's erase everything. We have a trend. Usually we have the one I like the best, downtrend. Then we get a reversal. This looks familiar, right? So far, get a downtrend, a reversal, and then we do a reversal of the reversal, something like this. We run the fib line from the low to the high, right here, and that right there is called a measured bounce. The target is actually much larger. I like these way better because you run the 3-point tool like this. And if it's bullish, the target can be way up here. If it's bearish, it's usually on the lower end down here. Right in here. So where the conservative move would be that move right in here. The more aggressive move would be that move right up there. That's pretty cool, right? Now, this shows up a lot. You've already seen me talk about this on the S&P. Oop, pull this down again. This move also shows up this way a lot of times. This is how you see me talk about it more than not. All right, like I warned about the 618 resistance. These two patterns have a lot in common. So still the same pattern, upside down, flipped it upside down. The resistance right there. And if we turn down, we get that continuation. And I need the fib tool. 1 point, 2 point, 3 point right there. The target typically right down in here. That's the same pattern I just went through, same measured bounce pattern, upside down. Looking for that continuation right down in here, primarily. And if it's a new trend, we usually go even deeper. So the numbers, numbers don't really matter on this. I'm just drawing the patterns. So that's the two primary patterns I'm looking for. And there's, when you combine them together, it becomes the rocket ship pattern, and that's where I get really, really excited. And I usually put more risk on than normal. What would that look like? It would look like something like this. Go down, you get the retrace like this, you get the move back down, and the roadmap line just happens to be right here, and that fib line, that 618, just happens to be right there. Also, this comes together right here, and that becomes the rocket ship pattern. Need the emoji. Where's the rocket ship? Come on. Dun, 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 dun. The airplane. Cool. I love how it's not just right there. It's like click the rocket, and where's the rocket? There it is. So there you go. All right, that's the patterns I'm looking for. So now the market roadmap pattern, high probability. The measured bounce pattern, lower probability. This pattern, it's very rare. I only find these every couple months, usually. But when I do, I usually put bigger risk on. So, and they tend to work out. And do I have an example of that one working out? Check this out right here. Rewind. This was a big picture pattern. You know, they're not always just the daily chart either. Sometimes they combine together. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, 3-day. This was a 3-day bounce right here. Rocket ship pattern. You can see the power of this baby. Look at that. I bought on 11/6/2023. Boom. Bought bigger risk than I normally do. That's the power of this pattern right there. Hopefully it helps you understand. Let me know in the chat. I see Kevin, or I see Ted already saying, and Jody. All right. Thank you for the feedback. And team right here. So we've got the big pullback, and we're hitting extensions for this pullback right in here, but start looking at the bigger picture here. That high, that low, coming up into that 618 resistance right here. So caution, team may experience a little bit of trouble getting through this zone right there. If it does, we could be cruising on up to clear air on that one. KLAC, same resistance. See it right there. This bounce could push us on up through or up into it. FNGU. Dun, 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 dun. This has got the, it did the breakout, the retest. Could get the extension on up. There's a few more patterns I look at, like these breakout patterns, but they're all part of the same pattern, really. It's just time frame is what matters. See, this was a 4-hour bounce here. The downtrend highs, the retest, and the continuation would be right up in here. NOW, probably coming back down to the roadmap line right in here. ASML, resistance, it may roll down. I'm still expecting that to come down to the low 600s. Charter, under the roadmap line, potentially bouncing up. Is that a bounce? I don't know. Got this high, got this low. We get above that 618. Could come up to 428. Did have earnings today, today, pre-market. VRTX. 3-wave move down. See this? The moves aren't always perfectly proportional, but right there, you see, look, that move down, that retrace, hit that exact target right there. You see that right there? See that? Everybody see it? Right there. That first move down, that retrace, and then hit that right there. Boom. Perfect. That could be that could be a reversal point. So now run your fib here, looking for this to stall out, this to retrace, maybe hold that roadmap line, and then get the continuation up 539. This is biotech, pharma. Be careful. Doesn't always follow the patterns. I warn. Pharmaceutical stuff, you know, the FDA, the Food Drug Administration of the United States, can just announce some stuff and then just do crazy stuff. So it's the way I don't typically trade the pharmaceutical, biotech, medical. I'll trade the medical arena because, well, it can be unreliable. Apple, same pattern, but we're dropping back below that 618 level. Giving it back just like Tesla did right there. Tesla got the pop and then gave it back. Watching for this, like if it can turn it around, get back above that 618, right up in here. Target is right up there. Got to do some soul searching whether I give up on this one or not. I did buy the AAPU and not looking super awesome as we come into the open here. ABBV. Dun, 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 dun. Now, if we break through this down uptrend of lows kind of situation here, if we break through, we could be coming on down. Put this back in log mode so it looks better. And there's the high, there's the low. Get the close above the 618, kicks it off for possibly 213, 219. So potential here on ABBV, AbbVie, says pharmaceutical. Be careful. Carvana has the pattern in place. Like we're probably going higher. That's this what they suggest. We're going to 281, maybe 296. GE Veranova. People were talking about this being really bullish. I don't know. This looks like it really wants to come back. It's got resistance right there. Really wants to come back to the roadmap line is what that looks like to me. Be careful. App. I don't really care about the news. Like these price patterns, once I started just tuning out the news, once I learned to ignore the news, not even care, I started doing way better. Anytime I get sucked into caring about, you know, the fundamental story involved with the stock, clouds my judgment. I try to do these patterns without consideration for what the fundamental story is because it doesn't really matter. The patterns dominate. Like Boeing, everything looked great. I was like, well, it's going to pull back 618. And then guess what? And that was over a year ago. Over a year ago. You can ask Goose in the chat. Thought I was crazy. I was like, right up in here. I was like, warning. I was like, no, not right there. Right here. Right there. I was like, Boeing's about to pull back all the way down to like 150, maybe even down to 140. And the people that I was in the chat with were like, you're full of crap. Why would I do that? And then like the next week, a door flew off a plane in the air. And then we all know the story of Boeing from there. But then when we got here, I was like, well, that was it. That was probably the bottom. We're probably going higher, potentially all the way up to 600. And we're already on the path. The news still isn't great for Boeing, but we're on the path. We're doing the bullish things. See the pattern again right there? Boom, boom. Hit the target, retrace, back to the roadmap line. So once you can ignore the mainstream media narratives, CRM, cautious here. We didn't get continuation. As long as we can hold, it's really hard. Like it's kind of like a little bitty uptrend low. As long as we can hold that, we're probably biased to 377 area. If we get below it, probably coming down here. And there, you know, there's warning sub warning signs and sub cracks in there, so you got to be careful. There's more nuance to it than just the big picture patterns. You know, the more you do it, the more you learn. DGNX, not enough candles to do anything with. Visa, watch out. That may have topped out right there. That may be it. May come back down hard. MDB. Resistance at the roadmap line. Remember, the pattern works upside down. Here's the low, here's the high. That's the roadmap bounce. We get back below the 618 right here. this can go on down. Right down in there. Be careful. AVGO. Nice retrace. Potential for this to go on up higher. Now, it could also come down to the roadmap line. Nothing's clear yet. We have a big gap down. Gap downs are resistance. Now, there is it's not really a fundamental reason for this, but gap downs are resistance. Gap ups don't matter. All right, gap ups don't really matter. Think about it like this. There were people buying. All right, people bought into this high. And they're like, yeah, I'm buying. We closed right at the top. Guess what? Next day, we opened up down here. They're trapped. They're stuck. We come back up. Those people that were stuck, some of them want to sell. They're like, oh, man, we're not going higher. Sell, sell, sell. Come up here. People are buying again. Buying. And then we open up down here. Guess what? All those people that bought up here, they're stuck again. So when we get back up in that zone, they're going to sell more than likely. All right. Now, from a fundamental standpoint, or from a primary stock trader standpoint, you're not like selling, and then you watch a stock gap up and you're like, oh man, I'm trapped. I sold out. I got to buy back in. So you don't buy back in on the dip. Like, that's not, like, that mentality doesn't work, right? That mentality works on the gap down. Like, you got stuck and you just want to get the fudge out. Like, I want my money back, get the opportunity to get my money back. I'm going to sell, which creates downward pressure. Like, that dipping back to fill the gap on the downside, that doesn't suddenly create buying pressure. Like, that doesn't, like, that psychology doesn't really work, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. So I think once it gaps up and you move on, you don't watch it anymore. So, once it gaps down, your attention's on it and you set alerts. And you're like, when this fills, I'm out. That's why gap downs matter and gap ups don't really matter. You let me know if that made sense. It's just trader psychology 101 right there. Right there. Watch for that to roll. Snow. My goodness. 192, 196, next upside resistance, which is where the gap is. And what gap? This one over here. Remember what I said? All that applies. Right there, there were buyers buying like crazy. And then they've been stuck for however long that is, like a year. I just want to get out. Maybe I'll double down here. I just want to get out. So be careful. On snow. I'm not sure it can get through the gap on the first try. May take 2 or 3 tries. TLN. Watch for that to come on down to the roadmap line. TEM. Dun, 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 dun. Sideways. No roadmap line yet. Not enough candles. Dog. Now we still have the resistance right above us, right here. Still the potential we come down to the roadmap line. Still that potential for 1, 2, 3 that comes down a little lower. How much lower is that? Here's the 3-point tool. First point, second point, third point. So we were right down in here. If we drop down, if we get below the roadmap line, pull that up here. Could be heading here. Or we may bounce and retest, do a hold here. Or if we just break above this, could just go rocking and rolling up to the target. That's kind of like the potential pathways here. Like, we've already turned down from here. So primary 1, secondary 2, and that would be the third path if we just turn here and burn. It's like my order of preference on what's about to happen for data dog. That sludge, man. Feels like it's sitting like right there. Kind of weird. And there's MDB firing off. VRT, big gap down. Be careful. Resistance at 130. AAPU, like I said, I bought some of this and missed it. Yeah, I wouldn't have closed anyway. I'm sitting in this till up here probably. Or getting out down here. CLS. That's just Apple. Like, why don't you do the pattern on here? So on leverage things, when it says 2x or ultra, that's leverage. Be careful on leverage. When it's a leverage product, it doesn't follow the patterns necessarily. All right, that's just the leverage skews the pattern. So you got to go to the underlying. Apple is the underlying, and the pattern's right there. So you're like, well, how do I know what the target is on the leverage product? Well, from there to there, it's about 10% upside. So AAPU with the 2x leverage, take the percent upside, and you multiply by 2. So roughly the target is right there. Maybe like, wait, that was a higher high on Apple chart, but it's not a higher high on AAPU. Yeah, exactly. Got to be careful. Like that doesn't necessarily equate to a higher high because there's cost to maintain the leverage. Sometimes these big drops are outsized, and then the upside is underperforms, so it may not even get to 20%. It may only get to 18 or 15% before it pulls back again. CLS, that's going out for the 138 targets. SPXL, probably going for, now this one, I've watched this one for a long time. Direction, whatever. This one may actually get to that 195 target or outperform here. So we may actually see this one rally on up into that zone. TECL, I've traded the SPXL and SPXS products, these Dexterion products. I trade quite often. Golly, man. Like I said, it feels like it's right there. All right. This has the, like, just look at the chart pattern on this leverage. Looks like we're going down here. Be careful. That might pop up to 125, but that's non-committal once we got above that 618. And that usually indicates we're going to roll. GitLab. That might pop. 85, 92. We do have some resistances that we built on the way down to the low. That is a measured bounce. You can see that pattern right there, but that was 3 waves up is the problem here. That was a measured bounce, and possible to go up here, but very cautious. This may stall out right here at 120 lower high and roll down again. Golly. AAPB, another 2x leverage on Apple. I don't have as warm a fuzzy feeling on Granite shares, so be careful. They may get the 20% upside. May work. I don't know. We'll see. 20% upside from here. Does put it up near the target, so that one may actually perform. Dexter, the AAPU might underperform. This one might underperform. Interesting. So AAPB might perform better. Reddit, watch for the retrace. COHR. Resistance right there at the gap down. If it can, it could possibly be done on the bottom. We could rip through, go to 120. Not sure. Don't like that gap sitting there. EETH. Looks like we're heading down. Big move down over here. Repeating it would put us right down here around 40. PANW. Resistance right there where we are. Not able to get through so far. If we do, 213. But if we don't, there's the target down here around 155. CRDO. You're like, well, that didn't bounce. Well, it did on a 4-hour. Potential for that to go on up to 92, possibly 98. Qualcomm. This has big resistance coming across here. If we can break above it, potential to go higher. Potential measured bounce. I wanted it to go a little deeper, but if you take it off of log mode, maybe it, oh, wrong chart. Take it off log mode. It did do a measured bounce, which puts the target right up in here, around 280 to 300. And if it's super bullish, up around 360. Now, you may be like, log mode, not log mode. It depends on, like, that gets more complicated because it depends on the algorithms, all right? People like me, people like you, code algorithms. You may be like, I don't code algorithms. That's not what I mean. Like, it's humans that code algorithms. Sometimes we use log mode when we code our algorithms. Sometimes we don't use log mode when we code our algorithms. It's up to the bias of the person writing the algorithm. And so there's no universal which way does the chart look better. You kind of have to flip it on and off and see. That hit the 618 on the not log mode chart, which means that this one's probably operating not log mode. That means more algorithms are probably programmed to not use log mode. ANET. Potential bounce. Potential to get the extension, 139. SC. Potential to come back down to the roadmap line. We do have other resistance from this other high right there. Then we got the 618 on the bigger drop at 150. Then we got this other high right there. So those are big resistance zone cooking right there, just above us on C companies, C Limited. And we may come up there and pull back again. Be careful on chasing that one too high. VIAV. Resistance right there. If we can get above it, we could come back up to the 20 area. Low price stuff is another one that doesn't always follow the patterns. Marvell chips bounce down. Resistance to the 618 and the gap may take us down to the roadmap line. TQQQ. Now this one has a history of following this pattern really, really well. Like, how do I know? Check this out. Turn on this right here. On this daily chart, let me put me on the other side. Cool, leverage. There we go. See right here? 94% of the time that this does a market roadmap bounce, it goes on to hit the target. 36 profit factor, which is insane. Maybe the highest one I've seen. And this typically takes about 41 bars right there for this to play out. This one took twice as long. It took like 80 bars. This one right here kicked off a few days back, right before we got the drop last week. Got the drop Monday, sets it up for that potential target right there. I am in this trade. QLD. Same pattern, same thing. Didn't hit the roadmap line though. This one's worked 100% of the time, but it didn't hit the roadmap line, so it didn't fire an entry. Bummer. See, it worked there, 100% of the time. It's this one has always worked for QLD. Decliners. Deck. Look at that, baby. Coming back down to the roadmap line. Pretty harshly after turning down the 618. See, we did the bounce right there. Look how beautiful this works. Did the bounce. Got the close above right there. Chopped a little bit. And then boom, right up to the target. And then boom, to the extension target. That 35% likely. We hit it. And then what do we do? Right back to the roadmap line. Beautiful dreamer, come back to me. So waiting for this to hit again and set up the next one. BAH. Turn down at the roadmap line, went on an extension lower. Could it be done? Possibly. Hit the extension at the 1272. We could see a bounce and a retest of the roadmap line at this point. Nothing suggests it's done to the downside yet. That looks like 5 down. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down. that little retrace, and I'm not sure we're done. We may go on a bigger downtrend for a while on Booz Allen. Calm. I would expect back to the roadmap line, potentially. Until it gets some sort of retrace, I'm not really interested in chasing it. PPG, maybe heading down here. BZH. Bees are home. Getting whacked. CL. Getting whacked. May come all the way down in this zone where we consolidated forever. GNTX. Coming back to the lows. OLN. Where's the bottom? Gosh, man. That looks pretty wicked. Watch for support around 20. And we're 29 now, so not too far to go, but that's still like a third. It's still 33% more down to go on that one. ALV, that's going to be the wrong one. I don't know why they don't default to the US ones. Autoliv, still expect this to come on down. Even though we're green back up to the roadmap line, that's the pattern. That's the extension. That would be what I expect right there. Chevron. Well, I thought we were going to turn down. Looking for this to come on down to 120. On. Watch out for the roadmap line. And the roadmap line may come on up. This may take a little while to get it on up here. This may churn right here. We back test that prior high before we go on up. Right there. Came up just shy of my ideal target on the pullback there. All right, that's the list. Bonus trade for those of you still hanging out, all 100 of you or so. ROL right here. Look at this. Look at this. 95%. 3.4. 48 trades since 1968. And that probably goes back even further. That's just the farthest that TradingView would go back. 3.42 upside potential. Let's go look at the targets 53.14. Pretty banging numbers here. Go look at it. RO fudge. Anytime I hit backspace, it freaks it out. There we go. So here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we already had one cooking here. There we are. 53 upside. Yeah, it already got in back here on that last bounce. So we're just waiting for this target here. Didn't stop it out. Got really close. Another opportunity to get in and ride it on up right there. 95.92% of the time. 49 trades, 3.8. Yeah. Strong potential on Rollins right here. Strong potential. Now, can you trade options? If so, what would you do? There's no options listed on TradingView. There may be some monthlies available, but we'd be looking for around 95 days, 95 trading days. So what does that mean? Use the tool right here. 95 trading days puts us out right there. It's 137 calendar days. You're out to June at least. And if it took twice that long, it'd be like 190 days. And remember, trading days are market open days. Calendar days have weekends and holidays included. And if it took twice as long as the normal, twice as long as the average, because things can take twice as long as the average, because average is, one super short, one super long. The average is right in the middle. It'd be 274 days, so out to the end of October. Might take a while. So options, maybe not the best way to play. Shares, if you want to tie it up. This doesn't typically, lately it's been popping pretty quickly, but this one's been taking a little while. It's just that last term it fired off right there. It's already been roughly 57 days, 88 calendar days. So it could play on out here, possibly in April, maybe. Anyway, if you take it, let me know. If you don't, take it, make money, let me know sometime in the future. Hope you have a great one. ROI, you do the ROI. Like, that's not giant. Like, there's the entry, there's the target, 7%. So there you go. Use that button. Use this tool. This tool is your friend. Date and price range tool. It's on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th button down. Right there. Down here under measure date and price range tool. I click the button to make it on my favorites, so it shows up right there. Handy dandy tool for measuring moves and getting the percentage. All right. And it's also handy, like on a 30-minute chart, you're like, how many bars? Tells you how many bars, but it also tells you how many days and you know, actual calendar time. 139 bars, but you know, there you go. Have a great day. We'll see you again Monday. Bias for the day. For those of you still hanging out, kind of expect it to pop. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Go. Target's up there, as we discussed. So, have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Monday. Be back. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll do it all again. Have a great day.